prophetic dreams. In the first dream, bundles, sheaves of wheat in the harvest field, were bowing down before Joseph's sheaf. When he told the dream to his brothers, it really hacked them off. The message was pretty clear, and these brothers didn't miss it. Mocking the young man for his dreams, they let Joseph know that Hades would freeze over before they bowed down before him. Sometime later he had a second dream, and this time the sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing down before him. When he told the second dream to his brothers, they went ballistic. Even Jacob was taken aback by the message and the thought that they might all bow down before Joseph one day. But Jacob didn't dismiss the dream. He just put it on the back burner and let it simmer. This is why the 10 brothers were so insanely jealous of Joseph. And it also explains why they tried to kill him when he was 17 years old. Let's make a deal. The brothers were pasturing the sheep up north in Shechem, where there was more rainfall and more grassland. Jacob wanted to know how the 10 brothers were getting along and how the sheep were doing, so he told Joseph to go north and check things out and then bring him back a report. Joseph was going to take a road trip, and road trips are a big deal when you're 17, and this was going to be a long one, somewhere in the range of 70 to 80 miles. That was a huge event in Israel 3,000 years ago. Normally, Joseph didn't get more than 3 or 4 miles away from home, and he always had to be home by 11. Joseph headed north, and when he got to Shechem, a man told him that his brothers headed west to Dothan. That didn't bother Joseph a bit. It meant he got to extend his trip by another 20 or 30 miles and play around with his new GPS receiver. Apparently, Joseph's brothers saw him before he saw them, because they spotted him while he was still quite a distance away, and they immediately knew that this was their opportunity to take him out. The brothers quickly got in a huddle and decided that they would kill him, and then they would throw him into a pit. Who would know? Who would find out? They would simply send word to their dad that a wild animal had killed Joseph. Reuben was the oldest brother and felt at least a measure of responsibility in the family. He talked the other guys out of killing the kid, so they threw Joseph into a pit while they took their dinner break. They chewed on their hummus burgers, chased it with goat's milk, and kicked around the best way they could do away with Joseph. It was Reuben's plan to sneak back around, pull Joseph out of the pit, and send him home. But while Reuben was absent, the other brothers saw a Midianite slave caravan going by, and that's when Judah got what he and the other guys thought was a brilliant idea. Judah convinced the brothers not to kill Joseph, but to sell him to the slavers and make some quick cash to pay the visa bill. They would then cover up their crime by taking his coat of many colors, dipping it in goat's blood, and telling Dad that the Lion King had ambushed Joseph. It was the perfect crime. So that's precisely what they did. They sold Joseph into a life of slavery for 20 shekels of silver. When Reuben came back to rescue little Joe and send him back to the Ponderosa, he was long gone. He was history. And now they would never have to deal with this irritating kid again. He was finally out of their lives. Forever. Or so they thought. Meanwhile, in Egypt. When Jacob saw Joseph's coat soaked in blood, he mourned for his boy with a broken heart. He knew he would never completely recover from Joseph's death. That would be a burden he knew he would carry for the rest of his life. One day he would die with a heart that had never healed. While Jacob grieved for the son he thought was dead, Joseph went up for sale in Egypt to a high-ranking government official by the name of Potiphar. As far as Joseph knew, he was going to be a slave for the rest of his life. Slaves have a lot of job security, but not much of a future. At 17, Joseph's life was over. Now Joseph belonged to a guy with the weird name of Potiphar, a prominent government official in the big time of Egyptian politics. He basically ran the Secret Service for Pharaoh. He was a major player in Pharaoh's cabinet, with all the expected perks of power, connections, and wealth. Potiphar was a successful man with a new slave who was about to become an unbelievable success. But nobody knew that when Joseph first showed up in chains. The Bible says that the Lord was with Joseph, and he became a successful man. Slaves don't become successful men. Slaves get used up and die young. But something remarkable began to happen as Joseph went about his duties as a slave. Whatever he touched seemed to turn to gold. Joseph pulled off every